Assalamu alaikum and welcome to a new edition of Dr. Nutrition. Today's topic is very important. I want to stress this point because the question I have been asked this week is related to dry cow management. And I want to give you guys more and more information that I can, but this is a big topic, so I will try to summarize it as much as possible. Number one, what is a dry period? So the dry period is the last 60 days, as we all know, 45 to 60 days before the cow calves. So that's why this period is very important. Number one, this is the rebuilding, the restart. Think about the dry period is like this. People think about it, it's a pause in the milk production or like a stoppage to the milk production. I think of it as a start, preparation of the new milking cycle and the second chapter in the cow life. So always think about it like this. That would be my suggestion. Number one, how to deal with dry cow from a nutritional standpoint. Of course, all of us knows about the body condition score, and before the cow goes to the dry pens, how we must separate the cows as per their body condition score. So all of us knows this, so I will not repeat this point, but I will give you guys what I do as a nutritionist, as a ruminant nutritionist for the dry cow. Number one, I must care a lot about the liver health. So for me, liver health is absolutely of utmost importance during those 60 days that we have the cow for the dry period. So we care a lot about this. I care a lot about adding protected amino acids like the choline, protected choline, protected lysine, protected methionine. Those amino acids are really, really crucial. Even if the formula is really good, I try to make sure that there is a way to add those protected amino acids because their impact goes beyond just what you can see on an immediate stage, and their success, it goes beyond this. That's number one. Number two, I try a lot to improve the immune system of the cow. So omega-3, organic minerals, all of those things all of those things help a lot the dry cow during this stressful time. If we dig a little bit deeper on the nutritional guidelines, so my recommendation, and this is what has been proven throughout many research that has been done over the past decade, you should be on a net energy of 1.3, sometimes I go even to 1.34, okay? In some formulation, we go to 1.34 in terms megacalorie per kilogram of feed, in terms of net energy. So that's my suggestion. You should always stick between this 1.3, 1.33, 1.4. That would be your Goldilocks zone for the dry cow energy balance for her TMR. The second point, if you have cows that are really low in the body condition score and you want to get them a higher body condition score, my suggestion is to increase to 1.45. Sometimes you can go to 1.5 megacalorie per kilogram of feed as a net energy for your diet for this cow. But if everything goes well in the dry period, stick to 1.34. That's where I usually stop for the metabolizable energy, the net energy for this cow. The second point is, and this is again from my own experience, and I have seen this also reiterated in in many nutritionists that has been working on the farm. Try always, when you give to the dry cow, try always to incorporate some of the fresh cow ingredient, not the fresh cow feed. No, what I mean is that if I'm using on the fresh cow diet after calving, if I'm using ingredient that I didn't use in the dry cow period, it will really upset the gut and the rumen ecology. And we're trying to minimize that as much as possible. See, even if I'm using molasses, of course, and I'm using some glucose precursors during the the fresh cow. So I try to incorporate a very, very small amount of this into my dry cow diet. Not a big quantity that can really have a problem with my formulation, but a very small quantities that wouldn't hurt, but also keeps the microflora to try to incorporate that and try to adopt them for the sudden change in our ingredient. Not in terms of the energy, as I said, they keep the energy as we said, but in terms of the raw material choices that you're gonna use. So if you're not, of course, we're not using alfalfa, but again, I'm using about 5% of my formulation of my TMR as alfalfa. 5% will not be too much for the dry cow, but it's very important because in the fresh cow, I'm gonna reduce this as much as possible. So again, and the list goes on and on. So very small incorporation of those raw material will help a lot. One very important topic that so many of us are trying to add the DCAD to our TMR for the dry cow. And to be honest with you, I am with the new nutritionists that do not believe in that is needed for the cow anymore. So there are many solutions that you can reduce the milk fever. But one Goldilocks rule that you should know: if the cow eat after calving, that cow will not have a problem. So if the cow eat properly, if the cow eat very well on the fresh diet, she will not have any problem of milk fever or ketosis. Keep that as a rule. If the cow is not eating, then the cow is sick. So she will have milk fever, ketosis, retained placenta, and many, many more problems. So your goal as a nutritionist, not to make the diet acidic. That is a new role. Try as much as possible to be closer to zero in terms of your DCAD for the dry cow. Believe me, this is the right thing to do right now. When you go to acidic diet, the cow is already mobilizing her fat reservoir and then is creating the NEFA and the ketone bodies in the blood. So my suggestion, and this has been researched a lot, try to work with the glucose and insulin. What do I mean by this? If the cow eats on the fresh diet, eats very well, her glucose will be increased in the blood, and subsequently the insulin will go also high. Because remember, the glucose up in the blood, the pancreas releases insulin to try to tell all the cells in the body, use only glucose as a source of energy. Okay, that is the simplest way that I can explain the insulin and glucose. But what happened if I'm using a DCAD diet, a very low in terms of pH diet, okay? If I'm using a DCAD diet, the cow will not eat well in the fresh. So what does this mean? That the cow is already not using or not having a high glucose level in her blood. So the glucose level is not high, the insulin level is not high in her blood, which will reduce something called insulin-like growth factor, okay? And this insulin-like growth factor 1 will reduce the production of estrogen and progesterone, and then it will delay the first conception. Increasing your calving interval and losing really a lot from a milk production standpoint and also from a fertility standpoint, in increasing your culling rate and increasing your reproductive cost. And that's my suggestion for today. And thank you so much for listening.